Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video there is a few topics to delve into. So I am going to be giving you the latest news on Mangerial Allegri. Then I am going to be talking with you a bit more about Ighalo. By the way, I give you the news on Ighalo on my previous video that I did this morning. But who do you think should replace Ighalo at the football club? Then I think I'm going to be talking with you a bit more about Pogba and that. So let's get straight into it. So the first topic I'm going to start with is Mangerial Allegri. Now, according to Gazzetta dello Sport, which is an Italian publication, they have said that Mangerial Allegri is ready for his next managerial role. I think Mangerial Allegri has been managerless now for like a year or so, because Mangerial Allegri did resign as Juventus manager last summer. Mangerial Allegri, of course, did enjoy, was it 5 or 5.5 years with Juventus. I think he did win 5 consecutive Serie A titles, and he also won 4 Coppa Italians, did Mangerial Allegri in that. And it's mentioned in the Daily Mail, saying that Manchester United and PSG are interested in Mangerial Allegri in that. Don't forget, earlier on in the season, there was talks of Mangerial Allegri coming to Manchester United because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was very, very close to getting the sack and that. Mangerial Allegri, of course, has spent the entirety of his managerial career in Italy. Don't forget, it did mention earlier on in the season saying that Mangerial Allegri was learning English in preparation for his potential move. Mangerial Allegri has not yet managed in English football. By the way, Mangerial Allegri also spent the entirety of his playing career in Italy in that. But I doubt very, very much, that he will come to Manchester United, because we are sticking with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for now. But obviously, if things were to go wrong in our 9 remaining games, when the season does resume, then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, could be under more pressure. If we don't get qualification for the Champions League, then possibly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, could get the sack. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer anyway will be given at least another season at the football club and that, because it is a transition period, and like Solskjaer revealed at the beginning of the year, he's hopeful that we can get through this transition period and that. And like I said, before the football season got suspended, we rejuvenated ourselves. We was in a good vein of form because we are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions and that. So Solskjaer will be under pressure to keep this good run of form up for when, the football season does resume. There hasn't only been Mangerial Allegri on our agenda. Don't forget Mauricio Pochettino was linked with a managerial role at Manchester United. I think it did reveal out earlier on this season, saying that Mauricio Pochettino had held negotiations with the football club because he was interested in taking over at Manchester United. Now, don't forget, Mauricio Pochettino was linked with a managerial role at Man United before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got the job permanently back in March. The couple of main explanations why, we decided to go with Solskjaer instead of recommending Pochettino in is because Solskjaer knows the club inside out, because don't forget he enjoyed 11 years as a player for Manchester United, plus Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was a cheap solution. And another one of the main explanations why he would give him the job permanently is reflecting on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. Pochettino now to Manchester United, I'm going to fully disregard it, because, Pochettino's been linked with a managerial role at Newcastle. I don't know if their takeover is yet completed. I think I was reading reports yesterday, and it mentioned that Premier League chefs had given the green light for Newcastle's takeover, to be completed. The Saudi Arabians are set to take over Newcastle. I think they've paid around £300 million to take over Newcastle of the Saudi Arabians. Because a while back, Mike Ashley had agreed to sell Newcastle, and I think Mike Ashley's been Newcastle's current owner for around, 12 or 13 years or something like that. I think the Saudi Arabians are worth, 200 odd billion. Some reports have been totally contrasted, and some reports have said they're worth like 300 odd billion pounds. But, you know, if this takeover is completed, then, you know, Newcastle will have the richest owners in the Premier League and that. He mentioned from Sky Sports, was it a while back, saying that Newcastle are willing to offer Mauricio Pochettino £19 million a year. But they're looking to get Pochettino in to replace Steve Bruce. There's also been narratives saying that Rafa Benitez could make a return to Newcastle because Rafa Benitez did resign as Newcastle manager last summer. You know, so I think Pochettino to Manchester United now is fully out of the equation. Don't forget Danny Rose, who's now on loan at Newcastle, but he is a former Tottenham player. And he actually said that Mauricio Pochettino will end up, you know, at Manchester United and that. Maybe he means the foreseeable future. Now, Pochettino is managerless at the moment. Don't forget Pochettino did get sacked from Tottenham last year. And I think Tottenham, you know, did make a mistake by getting rid of Mauricio Pochettino. Mauricio Pochettino endured 5.5 years with Tottenham. Like I said, I think he managed 293 games in all competitions and won like 159 of them. And I think he managed around 202 games in the Premier League and won around 113 of them. Analysing the vast majority of Pochettino's tenure at Tottenham, you know, were competing in and out of the top four. Don't forget Mauricio Pochettino guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final last season. But Tottenham did make a bad mistake by getting rid of him. Pochettino has managed 3 clubs so far in his managerial career. Obviously, you know, before he was at Tottenham, he was at Southampton. Pochettino enjoyed a very, very short tenure with Southampton, but I think he guided Southampton to their highest ever finish. And before he was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol. He began his managerial career with Espanyol and that. And he's well proven in the Premier League, Pochettino. My only element of concern about Mauricio Pochettino is that, you know, he hasn't won anything in terms of silverware. But I think Pochettino has confirmed he still wants, you know, to continue. He wants to continue managing in the Premier League, so he does want to remain in England and that. So there you go. So yeah, that is the latest news on that. Now let's delve into the news on Odion Ighalo. So, like I've mentioned earlier on in this video, I give you the news on Odion Ighalo on my video that I did this morning. Now, Odion Ighalo is set to leave the football club next week. He's set to leave the football club next week because his current contract at the football club expires on the 31st of May. Now, it does say our hopes of extending Odion Ighalo's loan has been dealt a huge blow because Shanghai Shenhua do expect Odion Ighalo to return in time for the start of the new Chinese Super League season. Now, we said that, you know, want to extend Odion Ighalo's loan deal by a further 3 months, but Shanghai Shenhua have turned this proposal down. So now it's looking very, very imminent that Odion Ighalo is going to be leaving the football club. And I think Odion Ighalo does want his loan deal at the football club extended. I think Shanghai Shenhua have offered him a 2-year contract extension, which will take his contract until 2024. And I think they've also offered him around £400,000 a week to convince him to turn down a permanent move to Manchester United. So it's looking likely, you know, Odion Ighalo is going to be going. Shanghai Shenhua did say a couple of weeks ago that they do want around £20 million to let Odion Ighalo go permanently. We probably got strong reservations about paying £20 million to get Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer. You know, maybe we have got reservations about that. But I think Solskjaer did make the admission saying, you know, that he wants to get Odion Ighalo, you know, permanent contract at the football club. Now, don't forget, we recommended Odion Ighalo in January. We paid, was it around 3 or 4 million to get him on loan. And I think we are paying like a third of his wages because I think his wages at Shanghai Shenhua are like £300,000 a week. Like I said, Odion Ighalo's enjoyed a very, very good start to his Man United career. He has got 4 goals in 3 starts for the football club. And like I mentioned, he has been a very, very good cover-up to Marcus Rashford. And he's the focal point and he's an option of a different type of centre-forward and that. So it's looking likely, we're not going to be able to extend Ighalo's loan. So I think he's going to be leaving the football club next week. He will be making a return to Shanghai Shenhua. And that. So, who is going to replace Ighalo at the football club? And that is the question. Now, as you all know, there has been a lot of strikers on our agenda. Obviously, as well, this morning, I give you the news on Joshua King from Bournemouth. It does actually say we are seeing Joshua King as an alternative to Ighalo. Now, Joshua King has been a long-serving player for Bournemouth. I think, he's been at Bournemouth, is it 5 or 5.5 years? I think Joshua King has made around 163 appearances. Is it something like that in all competitions? And he has scored around 48 goals for Bournemouth. Joshua King has got, a year left on his Bournemouth contract. I think Bournemouth are set to lose Jordan Ibe and Ryan Fraser in the summer transfer window because they're also coming to an end of their contracts as well. Now, the stories coming out regarding Joshua King were recently stemming from Sky Sports, and Sky Sports is a reliable source, and they've mentioned that four out of the top 6 Premier League sides are interested in Joshua King, and that's Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool and Wolves. Don't forget, we went in for Joshua King on deadline day in January. We had submitted a £20 million bid, but Bournemouth had turned this down. But, we never put a second bid in for the player because I think Bournemouth did say that they wanted around £50 million for the player. And that. Now, don't forget, Joshua King is a former Manchester United player. Don't forget, I think we got him from Vålerenga because I think that's where he began his career, Vålerenga. Don't really think Joshua King got his opportunities at Manchester United. But, when he left us, he had several loan spells. He had loan spells at Preston. Or was this during, when he was at Man United, he had these loan spells. But he was on loan at Preston, Borussia Mönchengladbach. He was on loan at Hull. He was on loan at Blackburn. Don't forget as well, Blackburn did get him permanently. And I think he enjoyed a couple of years at Blackburn, did Joshua King? But yeah, Bournemouth did get him in 2015. And he is the age of 28, so he is in his late 20s. You can play him centrally. I think you can also play Joshua King out wide. So would you take Joshua King back at Manchester United? Do let me know in the comments below. Probably Joshua King would cost maybe in the 30-odd or the 40-odd million pound range or something like that to get him in. Maybe cheaper actually, because he's into the final year of his contract. So we are seeing him as an alternative now to Ighalo. Now, obviously, Timo Werner, we are looking to sign him as well. Now, I've been talking with you a lot about Timo Werner on a regular basis, haven't I? I've been talking about him on a regular basis. Don't forget, Owen Hargreaves has recently, given his verdict on Timo Werner. And he actually, said Timo Werner should join Manchester United because I've got to make an admission. I think Werner, would be the perfect signing for Manchester United. Plus, he's a cheap solution as well. Timo Werner in the summer transfer window will be available for £52 million. Because that's his release clause in his RP Leipzig contract, and in reality, in the summer transfer market, Werner would be worth probably 90 or 100 million pounds, reflecting on how good he is. He did say, if RP Leipzig do not win the Bundesliga, then Timo Werner's release clause drops from 52 million to 44 million pounds and that. So there you go. Now, don't forget David Ornstein, who's a very credible journalist. He was talking about Timo Werner the other week, and he actually, mentioned that Timo Werner will only leave RP Leipzig to join Liverpool. But he also did say that Liverpool may not make any signings in the summer transfer window. So that's a positive, from our perspective. Liverpool may not make any signings in the summer transfer window. Don't forget, it has recently revealed, saying that Timo Werner has had a meeting with Jurgen Klopp. I think he's actually had a couple of meetings with Jurgen Klopp, to discuss, Werner going to Liverpool. Obviously, Timo Werner's already revealed that his preference is a move to Liverpool. You know, don't forget back in February, Timo Werner, you know, described Jurgen Klopp as one of the best managers in the world. And he did, you know, give like the 4 main explanations why he wants to join Liverpool. Don't forget Werner has already turned down a move to Bayern Munich. I think it also mentioned as well, saying that Liverpool are looking to sign Werner next summer instead of this summer. Because obviously, you know, Liverpool believe maybe he will be available for cheaper next summer. Maybe Liverpool also believe that they can't afford to also get him in this summer transfer window. You know, I think Liverpool need to sell one of their attacking trio to get Timo Werner in, you know, so he can get game time week in, week out. So they either need to sell Salah, Firmino or Mane. But David Ornstein said, you know, that the other week that Werner's held personal talks with Klopp. You know, Werner's had some talks with Man United. I think he's also had talks with Barcelona. I think Chelsea have also been in negotiations with his agent and that. So there you go. So there's still a possibility chance that Werner could come to Man United, but it is extremely unlikely in that. Don't forget, you know, Liverpool have got a good reputation though of getting, you know, players in from the Bundesliga, because they've recruited quite a few players in from the Bundesliga in recent years. You know, don't forget they got Joe Matip from the Bundesliga, they got Firmino from the Bundesliga, they also got Naby Keita from the Bundesliga and that. But I definitely take Timo Werner at Man United. Prolific goal scorer, versatility very, very good. Can play as a forward, but you can also put him on the left, you can also put him on the right. And he's young. He's 23 or 24 years of age. Timo Werner is now into his 4th season with RB Leipzig. I think he's scored over 90 goals now for RB Leipzig in, 150 odd or 160 odd appearances. Werner's still got a contract with Leipzig until 2023. Don't forget, Werner did score a hat-trick in RB Leipzig's 5-0 win against Mainz 05 recently and that. So that just indicates how much of a good player he is. I think Leipzig only paid around £10 million for him from Stuttgart back in 2016. So he is one striker on our agenda. Another striker that's been on our agenda, and that is Moussa Dembele from Lyon. Now, I've been talking with you a lot about Moussa Dembele, haven't I, from Lyon. Obviously, you know, reports came out, was it last week or was it the week before, mentioning that, you know, we'd allegedly agreed a fee in the region of £62 million with Lyon for Moussa Dembele, because Lyon did say they wanted in the £60 million range. And I think Moussa Dembele did say, was it around 2 or 3 weeks ago, that he'll find it hard to turn down a move to Manchester United. And he also said, you know, he wants to come to Manchester United. And the Lyon president even made an admission saying Lyon may have to sell Moussa Dembele. This has been Moussa Dembele's 2nd season with Lyon. Got to make an admission. I think he has done, you know, very, very well. I think he scored scored 42 goals in 88 games for Lyon since his arrival. He has got a contract with Lyon until 2023 as Moussa Dembele. Lyon did pay £20 million to him from Celtic in the summer of 2018. That's how much they paid for him. He also enjoyed, you know, a few good years in Scotland with Celtic. I think he scored around 51 goals in 94 appearances for Celtic. And before he was at Celtic, he was at Fulham. He actually, you know, began his senior career with Fulham and scored 19 goals in 64 competitive matches for Fulham and that. So that's one of the main explanations why I take Moussa Dembele in as well, because he is well proven in the Premier League, prolific goal scorer and hold-up play, very, very good in that. So he's been another strike on our agenda. You know the news on Erling Haaland as well. Erling Haaland to Manchester United this summer is very, very unlikely in the summer transfer window. I think Erling Haaland's release clause is either active next summer or it's active in the summer of 2022. And I think Erling Haaland's release clause is at around £63 million. He did say not too long ago that Real Madrid are planning to sign Haaland and Mbappe next summer. You know, so there you go. I think he did mention as well that Borussia Dortmund have got a verbal agreement with Mangerial, who's Haaland's agent, to keep Haaland at Dortmund at least until 2022. But if we was to get, you know, Haaland in the summer transfer window, he would cost us over £100 million in that. But it was a shame that we didn't get Erling Haaland in January, because Like I said, it would have been an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type signing. Like I said, Ed Woodward and Solskjaer went to meet up, with Haaland in Norway in January, to negotiate a move to Manchester United and that. And it was a shame that we didn't get him because he was a cheap solution. He was available for around £17 million. Haaland has got a contract with Dortmund until 2024. So yeah, he's been another striker on our agenda and that. So which striker, should Manchester United recommend in? Do let me know in the comments below. Do let me know in the comments below which striker Manchester United should recommend in. I haven't spoken to you about Harry Kane for a while, because he was also another striker on our agenda. But very, very sceptical that Man United are going to sign Harry Kane. Because Tottenham did say, they want a world record fee of 200 million if there was to let Harry Kane go. And obviously, we're not going to pay that for Harry Kane. So he's fully out of the equation. Alexander Pleaf and Borussia Mönchengladbach, it has said in recent weeks as well, that we've expressed an interest in him. So which striker should Man United get in that? So there you go. But like I mentioned anyway, there is a lot of uncertainty in the summer transfer window. And it's going to be interesting to see how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer approaches the summer transfer window. It's going to be interesting to see. Don't forget, Solskjaer had recently been given words in private about transfers, and we have actually told Ole Gunnar Solskjaer we may find it difficult to give him an official transfer budget. Because don't forget, Ed Woodward had spoken to investors on a conference call on Thursday, and last Thursday that is, and our latest financial figures got revealed, and our debt has risen up by almost £130 million. I think our net debt now is like £429.1 million. The club are no longer predicting revenues of up to £580 million. I think the coronavirus pandemic, by the way, has cost us around £28 million. But I think we expect the final figure to be much higher. And Ed Woodward, did say that he's optimistic about the season returning in June. But Woodward also mentioned that the coronavirus pandemic is one of the hardest moments in Manchester United's 142-year history. Obviously, Ed Woodward came out last month as well, and he insists, we won't do business as usual in the summer transfer market. So in that aspect, he ruled out big transfers to Manchester United. He ruled out big transfers to Man United, and he insists that we won't be spending hundreds of millions of pounds in the summer transfer window. But even though our net debt's risen up and all of that, I still think, we can be competitive in the summer transfer window like Ed Woodward had said, because he still believes, we can remain highly competitive. And I think the top 6 sides do fear our transfer strategy for the summer transfer window. In the summer, Liverpool going to sign anybody. Arsenal, they've got players taking wage cuts. Daniel Levy at Tottenham doesn't like spending money. Don't know what Chelsea are going to do. Don't forget, Manchester City. They've got a lot of money, but don't forget, they're banned from the Champions League for the next 2 seasons for breaking financial fair play rules. Don't forget, City's 2-year European ban will be heard by the CAS next month. So we'll know the outcome by maybe the 10th or the 11th of June of what's happening with Manchester City's European ban. Is it going to get upheld? Manchester City did appeal against the decision, but, the appeal is a long process and that. So, yeah, I think, we can be competitive in the summer transfer market. I really, really do. And even Solskjaer made the admission saying, that we are going to enjoy a different transfer window, to the recent ones, that we have currently enjoyed and that. And Solskjaer's already said he wants to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer, because he believes we need around 3 or 4 signings to become title contenders next season. And he has identified the areas in the squad where he does want to strengthen up. But Solskjaer knows he's got the backing of Ed Woodward. Ed Woodward quite a few times this season as well has assured that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe. And that even though we have enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season, and even the Glazers are willing to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because like I've mentioned on my recent videos, I think we have really improved in the transfer market under Solskjaer. And I've seen improvements in general under Solskjaer. But we've definitely improved in the transfer market under Solskjaer. You know, he has recommended the players that he wanted to recommend in. Because Solskjaer so far has recommended 5 players into Manchester United. And, you know, he has spent £220 million in the 2 previous transfer windows. He's enjoyed 3 transfer windows, but Solskjaer didn't recommend anyone in his first transfer window and that. And I think, you know, we have been a bit more sensible with our recruitment because we have been criticised for several years, you know, flexing on how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also been criticised for overpaying for players, and I will make that admission. We have overpaid for players in that. We've definitely improved in the market under Solskjaer, and obviously, you know, the summer transfer window will be Solskjaer's 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager and his 2nd summer transfer window. Don't forget, you know, these 2 young incoming players as well, and that's Marc Guijardo from Barcelona. I think we've paid around, is it 1.5 million in compensation for him. And Joe Ighalo from Sunderland, I think it mentioned that we'd agreed to get him for around £250,000 and that. So there's 2 young upcoming players that are incoming. So there you go. And I think, you know, there's players that have improved under Solskjaer. I think our record against the Big 6 sides this season has also been very good. We've registered 17 points against the Big 6 sides this season. You know, so I have really seen improvements under Solskjaer. Like I said, there's decisions that Manchester United have got to make before the football season resumes. There's decisions we've got to make. You know, like I said, we've got to make a decision on Paul Pogba's future. We've got to make a decision on Diego Dalot's future. I think Solskjaer as well needs to work out his best 11. It's going to be interesting to see what 11 Solskjaer puts out. You know, in the game against Tottenham, because Tottenham Man United is the first Premier League game back. I think Solskjaer as well needs to work out his best formation because he has been changing formation persistently this season. You know, he's been going with the 4-2-3-1 a lot. He's been going with the 4-3-3. A few times he's gone with the 3-5-2. From my own perception, we'll look more expansive with the 3-5-2 formation. You know, we also need to make a decision on Angel Gomez's future. Me personally speaking, I think Angel Gomez is leaving the football club when his contract expires at the end of next month. We've put forward a few contract offers for Angel Gomez, but there's just no signs of him signing a new contract and that. And Ighalo, I did say the other week we need to make a decision on his future, but I think, you know, his future's now being decided. He's going back to Shanghai Shenhua. So there you go and that. So these decisions that Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer do need to make. We've got obviously no decisions to make in the summer transfer window, you know, obviously what players Solskjaer's going to recommend in. He's got to make a decision of the players, you know, he's going to get rid of. I think Solskjaer's going to get rid of around 6 or 7 players in the summer transfer window. You know, I think he's definitely going to get rid of Phil Jones. He's going to get rid of Andres Pereira. He's going to get rid of Jesse Lingard. Ighalo could possibly go. Still a possibility chance Pogba could go. Also, too, I think Sanchez, he'll probably go back out on loan because we'll find it difficult to get rid of Sanchez permanently. Reflecting on his substantial wages, Angel Gomez will go. Probably Smalling and Rojo will go on permanent transfers as well. So around 6 or 7 players will leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window. So you look to get rid of more of the deadwood because Solskjaer's got rid of a lot of the deadwood anyway since he got recommended into the club. I think a total of 19 players have been offloaded since Solskjaer came in. I think around 8 or 9 senior players have left. And I think around 10 young players also left the football club as well. So there you go. And so yeah. So now let's just give you a bit of news on Paul Pogba. So I've just been reading recent reports and it does say that Miralem Pjanic and Paulo Dybala have said no to joining Manchester United in a swap deal of Paul Pogba going back to Juventus. So Miralem Pjanic and Dybala have got no interest in coming to Manchester United and that. Don't forget I updated you on my video yesterday. I mentioned, didn't I, that we'd put an offer into Inter Milan. He said we'd offered Inter Milan Paul Pogba. And obviously, it said we wanted Milan Skriniar as part of the deal, but Inter Milan had allegedly rejected this bid. Now, a couple of weeks ago, it said we was interested in Milan Skriniar from Inter Milan, because Inter Milan did say that I could leave them in the summer transfer window. Inter Milan did say, though, that they want around 52.5 million for Milan Skriniar. But swap deals have been on the agenda. Me personally speaking, I think Pogba's going to stay at Manchester United next season. Not too sure about the foreseeable future though. And I'm very, very excited about Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes playing together in our midfield, because they've not yet had the chance to play together in our midfield, and that of Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes. But I think they really, really will make a good midfield partnership. Like I said, Paul Pogba is now back from injury. His appearances have been limited this season due to his injuries. Paul Pogba has only played 8 times this season for the football club. The last time he played was in the 4-1 win against Newcastle, and the last time he started from the start was back in September. And that, so his appearances have been limited of Paul Pogba's. But we have got a fully fit squad for when the season resumes, because Solskjaer confirmed this quite a few weeks ago. We have been at Carrington today training, by the way. Don't forget, it was last Wednesday we returned to training. A lot of clubs up and down the country have recently returned to training, because the Premier League confirmed on a statement last Monday that clubs had unanimously voted to return to smaller training groups. And I did say, that was the first step, of resuming the season and that. We've also got Rashford now from his back injury. But I think the season's going to be resuming. Is it on the 19th or the 18th of June? Some reports have said, it could be on the 12th of June. It all depends on the fitness levels. But the Premier League has been suspended for a good, 9 or 10 weeks, something now. Don't forget the Bundesliga recently returned. La Liga is supposedly resuming on the 8th of June. So it's good that football is coming back. It really, really is good in that, And like I said, Pogba's, there's still talks of him possibly going to Real Madrid and that. But there's been quite a lot of clubs that have been in for Pogba. But me personally speaking, I think he's staying at Manchester United for next season. There is just a year left on his contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for the further year. And Mangerial has obviously recently been in negotiations with Juventus. He's also held talks with Real Madrid before. So yeah. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.